Apparently, I've been making YouTube videos for 10 years now. At least that's what YouTube says. I hope it's correct. I'm not fully sure. So I know I've already made a 10-year YouTube video, but the thing is that was 10 years of being on YouTube. This video is 10 years of uploading videos. Two completely different things. I joined YouTube in 2014, but I didn't make a video until 2016. And last time I checked, it's currently March something or other, 2026. And 2016 and 2026, that's about a 10 difference. So it's been 10 years. But enough talking about what 10 years actually kind of means, and let's begin talking about, the videos and how I create videos, because, in the 10 years I've had time to create some stories. So why don't we begin with my very first video ever, aka Mahjong, PT1. Now, I replayed Mahjong pretty recently because it was my 200th video special. So not only have I been uploading videos for 10 years, I've also uploaded over 200 videos in the 10 years, which actually I think isn't that much compared to some YouTubers in their first 10 years. So, I don't know. But how many videos doesn't really matter. What matters is that this is my first video ever. And if you ever watched it, you might notice something a little weird, how it just kind of ends. There's not like an official end to the video, it just kind of abruptly cuts off. And that's for one very specific reason. If you look at the top of the screen, you might notice that it says Bandicam.com. And if you were alive at all back then, you might recognize the name Bandicam. That's because it was a very popular, very recording software. It was free, sure, but it had a giant watermark on the top of your screen, and it only recorded for 10 minutes max, unless you paid for Bandicam Plus or whatever. Then you would have an unlimited, I think, recording length and no watermark. But I didn't want to pay, so I just did what everybody else did and had the watermark. But instead of having like a smooth-ish transfer over from PT1 to PT2, I just let the recording software end. And then I just pushed play again on the recording software and continued like nothing happened. And then I uploaded both of those videos, as is. Because back then I did not have editing at all. Just no editing whatsoever. I'm not even sure when my first actual edited video was. Let me real quickly look. So there wasn't really like no editing and then suddenly editing. It was more of a smooth transition into, having editing in my videos. But it looks like my first video that was edited was a video called Edit Test, which was my third video ever. And it's Minecraft, and it's in a very weird aspect ratio in multiple ways. The video itself is like a square, but I'm not sure which numbers those are. And then the footage is like a thin rectangle kind of thing. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. And then there was a whole bunch of videos after that that wasn't really edited. But I can tell that I started using a different recording software because it doesn't have the, Bandicam watermark on it, and it is over 10 minutes long. But I'm not sure which exact recording software it was. It might have just been the Xbox game bar thing whenever you push Windows G. I'm not sure if that's still even a thing. But I know I've used that before. I just can't remember, when exactly. And then I'm not sure exactly which editing software I'm using. But then there was a point where I started using Adobe Premiere Pro for editing because, why not? Now, I don't know the full story of this Premiere Pro, but I do know it was like some kind of broken CD where the license was broken and we were able to just use it. But it was stuck in the 2015 version of a Premiere Pro. But it still, worked as an editing software, so I used it. That simple. And it took me a long while to get used to recording and editing and then uploading a video. Because it isn't like how it is today where you just have a phone, you push record, and then biddity bam, biddity boom, upload that thing, and then boom, you have 1,000 views. Instead, you would have to have, well, multiple softwares installed just for one video. It was insane. And even today, I still have multiple softwares for making a video, mostly because it's just nice to have all the softwares for making a video. But we're not going to talk about what I'm doing today because that will be later in the video. We're going to be talking about what I did back then, if I can remember. But for a little while, I was recording off my phone and then editing on my phone using iMovie. But then I would just, simply upload that video to YouTube. But iMovie was a pretty good, software for iPhone users specifically, I'm pretty sure. At least it did everything that, I needed it to do. I'm not sure if you're able to do like super intense effects or anything with it, but you could definitely put multiple clips together and shorten them and make them speed up and add music and whatnot. So that's all I needed. But then at some point I started using Streamlabs to record my videos. It's a pretty good software, not specifically made for recording, but it did the job again. That's all I needed it to do. Because, Streamlabs, it's kind of in its name that it's made for live streaming and not pre-recorded recordings. And that was pretty much how I made videos for quite a while. Use Streamlabs to record the video, and then edit it in Premiere Pro, and then upload it onto YouTube. And then I also did all of the thumbnail making in Premiere Pro, because again, why would I want Photoshop to do the same thing that Premiere Pro can do? This doesn't make sense. And I know I just said it's nice to have all these apps installed for video making, but I don't like having apps that are very unnecessary. The main reason why I have a separate recording and editing software is because I kind of need a separate recording and editing software. If my editing software could also record, I would just do that. But I don't think it can. Maybe it can. I should look it up. But I probably won't do it anyways because, I don't know. But then at some point I moved from Streamlabs over to OBS because OBS was better, I guess? I don't actually remember why exactly I moved over to OBS, but I did for reasons. So then that was my go-to. Record on OBS, edit in Premiere, and then upload onto YouTube. But then Premiere got bad. Actually, no, it didn't get bad because I wasn't able to update it, so I didn't get the badness of updates. But I did get the badness of outdated versions. AKA, I wasn't really able to do exactly what I wanted to do anymore with Premiere Pro. Specifically, upload videos from my phone to Premiere directly, because iPhone apparently likes to use its own video format. What a surprise! And Adobe was not compatible with that video format, so I had to change it. But the problem is there isn't really any good video editing softwares out there exactly. So it was going to be hard to find a replacement for free specifically. Because I needed it to be as powerful, if not more powerful, than Premiere Pro, but being free. But somehow a miracle happened and I actually did find something. And it is called DaVinci Resolve. That thing. Surprisingly enough, this actually has a free version, and the free version is pretty much just the paid for version with slightly less stuff with it, but not much, surprisingly enough. So I downloaded it, I started using it, and it was great. And at that point, Premiere Pro was, behind me. I was never going to look back at that thing ever again. For a tiny bit there, I've been actually using a third program, surprise, surprise, for my microphone. And that program is called Audacity. Audacity? Dabacidus. I think one of those is correct. And that was mostly because I wanted my game audio to be separate from my microphone audio so I could do some more editing skills. And then one day, Audacity just started lagging for no reason at all. So then I just moved over to voice recorder, I think it's called. Pretty much just the default audio recorder for Windows. It's not really powerful or anything, but I don't need it to be powerful as long as it, records audio from this thing and doesn't sound horrible. I'm good. And that is what it does, so I'm good. And really recently, I'm pretty sure like 1 or 2 of my videos actually has it. I've been recording my voice audio and game audio both in OBS. And that's exactly what I was trying not to do with the whole Imma use Audacity thing. But I learned about tracks. It's pretty much where OBS will record the audio of the game and then the audio of your voice separately. So then when I splonk it into DaVinci, they're separate. And I don't have to do the whole, lining up audio, whole clap thing or whatever. It just works, which is pretty nice. And then there's just been a lot of tweaks that I've been doing, mostly with audio, trying to get my microphone to sound better and the music to be nicer and the game to be also good. And the biggest thing that I've done with editing to make it, easier to edit after getting DaVinci was getting this thing. This is an official speed editor made by the company that makes DaVinci for speed editing. What a surprise. It has everything that you need to quickly edit stuff. It has a little fidget spinner on it. And then a whole bunch of buttons that are very complicated and do a whole bunch of stuff. And it also comes with the paid version of DaVinci, which is a lot nicer to have because I'm able to do a lot more stuff with it and have a lot more effects and do fun stuff. So I can edit videos like that. So have I finally found the perfection of making a YouTube video? No. Oh god, no. No. Will my process change? Oh yeah, easily. It will definitely change. 100%. And I'm probably gonna make another 10 years of YouTube videos because why not? But in the first 10 years, I have officially went from not knowing what the hell I'm doing to having at least a clue. So the next 10 years will be less of figuring out what I'm doing and more of a refining of what I'm doing. But I plan on doing some more editing that actually has some effects in it, we can say. But for now, I gotta edit this video and upload it before the deadline, which is like, about 2 weeks. That was going into more detail of how I make YouTube videos instead of just what I've been doing on YouTube. But what I do know for a fact that I will never, ever do is TikTok. Okay, goodbye.